Hi everyone, for tonight's nightcap and review, I'm having some water because I've been in the sun all day, so I need to hydrate. Tonight's review is going to be How to Be a Good Villain by Jamie Dalton. This is a book I received as an ARC, but of course I'm going to give my honest opinion. These are the tropes, and there are no content warnings listed in the book, and having read it, there's nothing extreme in it. Yes, there's some unalivings, but they're in no way gory or extreme. They're just part of the storyline and they just happen. So I believe that most readers would be okay with them, but that does happen in the book. But that's just to make you aware of what you'll come across when you read it. For the most part, I can understand why there's no content warnings. So what's my rating on this book? I am giving it a 3.5. I was really excited about this book and I am looking forward to talking about my thoughts and feelings on it. But just remember, not every book is for every reader, and this may not have been the book for me, but just because it wasn't for me doesn't mean it won't be for you. And I do encourage anybody to give any of these books that I try a try for themselves if it sounds like something you might like that I just may not have. It could be your next 5-star read, and I love that for you. So what's this book about? Well, this book is about Lilith, who is the most powerful villainess in 3 kingdoms. She has decided her next scheme is to corrupt Prince Asher away from the path of being a hero. She has decided the best way to do that is to become a maid in his castle so that she could be close to him and perform whatever deeds she thinks will help corrupt him and steer him away from the path of good. But the more time she spends in his presence with his shining spirit, his empathy, and at times annoying optimism has started to melt the coldness around her heart. And it starts to make her wonder if her path of wickedness is really worth it, or if there could be more for her in life. So what are my thoughts on this book? Again, I am giving this a 3.5. There were a lot of things I liked about this. I liked the concept of this book. This was such a cool idea with a reverse female villainess trying to corrupt the golden retriever male main character hero. I really enjoyed that idea. And this was being presented as a romantic fantasy comedy, and I love that idea as well. I thought that was such a great mashup. And having read the book, I think what the message the author was trying to convey with the characters and the writing was that we shouldn't stuff people into boxes based on who their parents are. They should be allowed to choose their own path, and they should be allowed a chance at redemption when they truly want to change. I love the message that the author was trying to convey. But having read the book, I will say I was a little underwhelmed by what I was presented. So one of the reasons I feel this book was a little underwhelming for me was due to the writing. At times, the writing felt like it was super slow, then it would pick all of a sudden back up, but then it would slow back down, and it just was a little jarring at times, as well as I feel there were some plot holes in the storyline that just left me scratching my head, wondering why this was not being addressed. And also, some of the sentences were a little repetitive, being repeated on the same page, where I felt like I was just rereading the same line for the same reason further down the page. It just, why is this here again? And the big thing was I felt there were little nuances in the storyline that were just skipped that could have really added to it, because the romance in this book was as well a little underwhelming. An example is there's a foot rub that the villainess is supposed to get from the hero, and I'm sorry if this is a spoiler, feel free to skip this. And she's talking about how she has to have clean feet for this, or at least they're talking about that. And then they go from her talking about having clean feet to her exclaiming, "This is the best foot rub I ever had." But we don't read about the foot rub, and I feel like that was a missed opportunity to build up the chemistry and the tension to lead to the romance and make it more believable and more enjoyable, because we missed all that, so there was just no build up for me. Next are the characters themselves. You have Lilith, the female main character, who is supposed to be the strongest villainess in 3 kingdoms. And while I get the author is trying to make this a romantic comedy, you can be a badass villainess and be funny. I was just left wanting more with her. She kind of was just a little whiny and filled with self-doubt, in my opinion. And her attempts to corrupt the prince were really meaningless pranks that I don't get how they were to corrupt him, as well as I don't see how they were even funny. So I was just left wanting more with both the character and what she was doing. Next is Prince Asher. Now, I'm trying not to give away any spoilers, but something happens at the beginning of the book when he is introduced, and for some readers, this might not be an issue. For me, it was an immediate turnoff. I could not see him as a romantic partner for the rest of the book. Left me questioning his personal hygiene methods and wondering anytime spicy moments were going to happen, what surprises we would find. So, immediate turnoff for me. Now, I will say something cool the author is doing that I forgot to mention earlier. She's presenting readers the choice between a spicy version and a fade to black version, both of which will be released on July 16th. So if you choose to read this, which I strongly encourage people to give this a try for themselves. I know this sounds like I didn't like the book, but I just may not have been the targeted reader. So if this sounds like something you want to try it. You may love it. And again, I love that for you. Just make sure you're selecting which version, the spicy or the non-spicy version, when you choose to read it. It does say in the title, fade to black, if that's the version you want. And again, both will be available July 16th. Having read the spicy version, there's a couple spice scenes. They're okay. Overall, like I've said, this wasn't the book for me, but this may be the book for you. It will be available July 16th, and give it a try if it sounds like something you want to do. I hope everyone has a good night and happy readings.